It now being 9:30, I'd like to call to order the Long Range Capital Planning and Utilization Committee. Just as an informational to everybody that wasn't here prior to this, I have a severe ear infection right now and I'm having problems hearing. So if I don't see you, raise your hand or something, just throw something at me and please forgive me. Also, I'd like to welcome our newest member, Representative Stephen Bogart, here for his first meeting. And let's go ahead and begin. With the acceptance of the June 30th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business, we have none. New business, we have a heavy load today, thanks to the Department of Transportation. Must be trying to get caught up before the end of the year here. You got warned last year, didn't you? So let's start with item LRCP 25029, authorization to grant an access point. Welcome, and please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Eric Sargent, members of the committee. My name is Eric Sargent. I'm the administrator for the Bureau of Right-of-Way, New Hampshire Department of Transportation. In recognition and appreciation of the committee allowing us to submit this many items all at once, I'm going to keep my summaries brief so we can get to any questions if you may have some. Okay, so starting off with item 29, sale of an access point in Exeter. The department requests authorization to grant an access point through controlled access right-of-way on the southerly side of Holland Way. The access will be sold to Palmer and Sicard or their designee on behalf of Saxon Partners for $450,000. An additional $1,100 administrative fee will be assessed. The town of Exeter supports this request, which will allow for the future development of the site and also facilitate easier access to Exeter Reservoir. Conditions of the sale include the grantee applying for a drive permit from the town of Exeter and obtaining all necessary state and local approvals. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Do we have any questions on this item? Seeing none, I recognize Representative Pearl. I'm sorry, Senator Pearl. Move to approve. Motion has been made.
Second.
And seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item LRCP 25-030, also from the Department of Transportation, requesting authorization to sell 2 tracts of land. Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests authorization to sell 2 tracts of land for a total of 0.34 acres located on the northerly side of Route 9 bypass and westerly of Elm Street in the city of Keene. The sale would be direct to the abutter, Paul DeBrisk, for $8,000 with an administrative fee of $1,100. The 2 tracts will be merged with the abutter's lot. As a condition of the sale, the buyer will be responsible for obtaining all necessary local state approvals, and the department will solicit interest from the city of Keene and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority. That's all I have. If there are any questions?
Once again, do we have any questions? Senator Pearl is recognized. Move to approve.
Second.
And it's seconded. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 25-031. The Department of Transportation requests to amend the previously approved disposal of a parcel of state-owned land. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests to amend the previously approved disposal of state-owned land in the town of Guilford, on the northeasterly side of Route 11 and southerly of Belknap Road. The reason being, after a boundary survey was conducted, the parcel size was determined to be 2,199 square feet instead of the 3,350 square feet as listed in the request approved on October 2nd, 2024 as item LRCP 24-032. Additionally, a new appraisal was completed and the value was reduced from the $61,400 to $46,000 to reflect a decrease in the square footage to be sold. The department will assess $1,100 administrative fee. The sale will be direct to the abutter, Richard Zagami. Conditions of the sale include the grantee commissioning a licensed land surveyor to prepare a boundary plan depicting the limits of New Hampshire Route 11 right-of-way and obtaining all local and state approvals. The department will also solicit interest from the town of Guilford and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority. The department has solicited interest from the town of Guilford and New Hampshire Housing Finance, both parties inclined to interest.
Any questions? Looking for Representative Bogert for a motion, please. Move to accept. Do I have a second? Motion's been made and second. A little baptism by fire for Representative Bogert there. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to LRCP 25-032 from the Department of Transportation requesting authorization to sell .42 plus or minus acres of state-owned land. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Department requests approval to dispose of .42 acres of state-owned land easterly of Interstate 93 and northerly of Pollard Road in Lincoln. The proposed sale will be direct to the town of Lincoln for $97,000. The town manager has stated the valuation is acceptable. However, the funding must be approved by the town vote. In the event the requester declines to move forward with the direct sale, the department further requests approval to list the subject parcel on the open market pursuant to RSA 22831B and Administrative Rule TRA 1000. The department will also assess an administrative fee of $1,100. Conditions of the sale include the grantee commissioning a licensed land survey to prepare a boundary depicting the limits of Interstate 93 and obtaining all local and state approvals. The department also solicited interest from New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority, and they are not interested.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Seeing none. Back to Senator Lang. I'm sorry, Senator Pearl. It must be the sunglasses thrown on. Motion has been made
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to LRCP 25-034 from the Department of Transportation. Requests authorization to sell 8.93 plus or minus acres of state-owned land located easterly of Route 302. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests approval to dispose of 8.93 acres of state-owned land easterly of Route 3 and northerly of the Saco River. The proposed sale would be direct to the abutters Susan Nichols for $78,000 with an administrative fee of $1,100. The subject parcel was originally acquired from Susan Nichols as part of the Conway Bypass Project. As condition of this sale, the grantee shall be responsible for obtaining any and all local and state approvals, including but not limited to subdivision approval. The department has solicited interest from the town of Conway and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority and received a letter of no interest from both parties.
Do we have any questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion from anyone. Motion has been made
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to LRCP 25-035. For the record, Representative Faulkner has declared a conflict of interest, so Representative Sue Newman will be sitting in for him on this particular matter. The Department of Transportation requests approval to dispose of 9.77 plus or minus acres of state-owned land located northerly of the Old Country Road. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests approval to dispose of 9.77 acres of state-owned land located westerly of New Hampshire Route 63 and northerly of the Old County Road in Chesterfield. The department will enter into an listing for 1 year with HKS Associates Inc. with a listing price of $29,000. An administrative fee of $1,100 will also be assessed. As condition of the sale, the grantee shall be responsible for obtaining any and all local state approvals, including but not limited to subdivision approval. The department will also solicit interest from the town of Chesterfield and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority.
Any questions on this matter? Representative Mills moves to approve the matter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to LRCP 25-036. Once again, just for the record, we are going to reseat Representative Faulkner and remove Representative Newman from this particular matter. Department of Transportation requests authorization to sell 0.54 plus or minus acres of state-owned land located on the northerly side of Route 107. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests approval to dispose of 0.54 acres of state-owned land located northerly of Route 107 in the town of Fremont. The sale will be direct to the abutter Montana Realty Trust for $45,800, and the department will also assess an administrative fee of $1,100. As a condition of the sale, the grantee shall commission a licensed land surveyor to prepare a boundary survey depicting the limits of New Hampshire 107 right-of-way, and the grantee shall also be responsible for obtaining all local and state approvals, including but not limited to subdivision approvals. The parcel will be sold subject to the existing slope easement recorded at Rockingham County Registry of Deeds, Book 2220, page 204. The department will also solicit interest from the town of Fremont and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority.
Any questions? Seeing none. Motion's been made by Senator Pearl, seconded by Representative Bogert. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, LRCP 25-037. The Department of Transportation requests approval to dispose of 1.55 plus or minus acres of state-owned land with a deeded access road. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests approval to dispose of 1.55 acres of state-owned land located southerly of New Hampshire Route 106 in the town of Belmont. The department will enter into a listing agreement with NIA Norwood Group for 1 year and list the subject parcel in the open market with a listing price of $115,000. The department will also assess administrative fee of $1,100. As condition of the sale, the grantee shall commission a licensed land surveyor to prepare a boundary survey depicting the limits of New Hampshire Route 106 right-of-way. The grantee shall also be responsible for obtaining all local and state approvals, including but not limited to subdivision approval. The parcel will be sold subject to the existing access easement. The department will also solicit interest from the town of Fremont and New Hampshire town of Belmont and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority.
Any questions? Yes, Representative Faulkner.
Thank you, Chairman. The subject to the access of the Hill Street is that a easement that will be reserved in favor of the parcel and back, or is it actually a state layout of a roadway?
Thank you for the question. The easement was reserved in the acquisition to the when the state acquired the title. The easement was reserved for the access to the back parcel.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Representative Faulkner makes a motion to approve, seconded by Representative Bogert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to that's informational. Moving on to number 39. The Department of Transportation requests authorization to sell a utility easement on state-owned land. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests approval to sell a utility easement across the state-owned land in Alton. The sale would be direct to David Skies for $1,700 with an administrative fee of $1,100. The easement would be granted for the purpose of running a power line to the requester's property along the previously granted access. As condition of the sale, the grantee will be required to commission a licensed land surveyor to prepare a boundary plan depicting the limits of New Hampshire Route 11 right-of-way. The grantee shall also be responsible for obtaining all necessary local and state approvals, including but not limited to subdivision approval.
Any questions regarding this matter? Seeing none. Looking for a motion. Senator Ennis has jumped in and moved to approve. Second by Representative Cloutier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to LRCP 25-040, the Department of Transportation requests approval to convey a permanent access easement. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department requests approval to convey a permanent access easement across the state-owned land located on New Hampshire Route 153. The access easement is approximately 3,711 square feet with an appraised value of $4,800 and will be granted to Dwayne and Cynthia Bickford. Administrative fee of $1,100 will also be assessed. The easement will be granted for the purpose of access to the requester's abutting property. As condition of the sale, the grantee will be required to commission a licensed land surveyor to prepare a boundary plan depicting the limits of the access easement and the New Hampshire Route 153 right-of-way. The access will be restricted to a single-family residence. The grantee shall also be responsible for obtaining a drive permit from New Hampshire DOT District 3 office and secure all other local and state approvals.
Any questions on this matter? Seeing none. Motion has been made by Senator Pearl and seconded by Senator Ennis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on under RSA 4-40, disposal of real estate. LRCP 25-033, Department of Administrative Services. This is actually a substitution replacement in your packet. I assume we've all gotten that replacement packet. The Department of Administrative Services requests authorization to grant on behalf of the state of New Hampshire to Public Service Company of New Hampshire a perpetual utility line easement. Morning, sir. Please identify yourself and give us your best.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Honorable Committee. My name is Jared Nyland. I'm the Real Property Asset Manager with the Department of Administrative Services. DAS is requesting on behalf of DHHS to grant a electrical utility line easement to a facility currently under construction on the Hampstead Hospital property. This is intended to be the replacement facility for the Sununu Center in Manchester. They want to install a new distribution line directly to the new facility in exchange for the establishment and provision of electrical services to the new facility and maintenance of those services. And we also request to waive the administrative fee, given that this grant is in exchange for no consideration except for the services, the availability of the services to be provided. Any questions?
Do we have any questions for the gentleman? Seeing none. Senator Pearl has graciously made a motion to approve and seconded by Senator Ennis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to miscellaneous items, we have none. An informational item, we have LRCP 25038 pertaining to an informational update to a reduction in the fair market value. Unless we have any questions, this is just strictly for information. Yes,
Point of
Representative
information,
Cloutier.
Mr. Chair. Yeah, so do we have to take any action because the price has been reduced on item 25-038, or we can just let it go and give the department? It's in the DOT.
Mr. Chair, if I might, the committee doesn't need to take an action on that. The committee approves the disposal of property. In statute, it's to be disposed at a fair market value or at a value that the governor and council come to. What the department has done traditionally for the committee is provided you an approximation of what the cost or the value of the property is that they anticipate it would be sold for. In this case, the use of the property has changed in terms of how you access it, which has caused the fair market value to be reduced for it. And so I had asked the department to just provide it informational to the committee so that they would be aware of the change.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shea, Mr. Chairman, for that clarification.
Thank you. Two other additional informational items. LRCP 25041 from the New Hampshire Council on Resources and Development regarding their minutes from the May 8th meeting. And LRCP 25-042 from the New Hampshire Council on Resources and Development. Two memorandums regarding surplus land review for Meredith and Hampstead. Moving on to item number 6, the date of our next meeting. Recognize Mr. Shea.
The chair would like to meet on December 9th at 9:30 at Granite Place in room 228.
This is now a Tuesday meeting, not a Monday meeting. The reason being that that room in Granite Place is under the authority on Tuesdays of Public Works and Highways. So we can't get bumped out. Any problems with the Senate on changing that date? Not a bit? You? Not, sir. Okay. Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. If there's no further business, I'll turn to Senator Pearl for my favorite motion. Motion to adjourn and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Well done, even with the hearing.